That was a joke because Steve has become a YouTube star.
That is
Inside
not
joke
true.
there.
Welcome to the Up and Away podcast, sponsored by Commerce Hero.
Welcome to Commerce Hero Daily, number 29.
What is up?
What is up?
Bringing the energy this morning.
Bringing it. We had some issues getting set up today, so I'm not downstairs in my beautiful patio where we wanted to be doing this. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have that.
Yes, and technical issues are always an energy drainer, so that's why we're bringing back the energy.
We're bringing it back. We're pros. Well, how's it going today, Steve?
Going great.
Awesome. We've decided doing well. We've decided to go. I'm rocking my Mage Mail t-shirt here. If you can see in the video,
I love it.
Wait, you haven't seen it? What are you talking about? We can't see each other.
Yeah, we can't see each other.
It says you've got Mage Mail. It's
this whole
beautiful.
like us looking at the camera as if we're talking to each other. It's all post.
It's funny because I watched the video, the one that they finished the other day, and then I could actually see you, and then you were making like hand gestures like during certain parts of the conversation that were hilarious, but I couldn't see them all. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are we talking about today?
What are we talking about? That's a good question.
I had a few interesting conversations yesterday that were cool. One was talking to an agency that was thinking about acquisition, like thinking about themselves getting acquired, kind of a thing. And
exciting.
So that was a cool conversation. And I don't know too much about, I have a little bit of experience. I had a Mage Mail was right here. Mage Mail was acquired, which was cool. They did this shirt all by themselves, which I think was amazing.
So is this a new Mage Mail shirt you're rocking? Like
it is. Brand new.
It.
I actually never did shirts for Mage Mail, believe it or not. I did.
You really didn't?
I did.
You have a Commerce Hero shirt, but not a Mage Mail shirt.
Not a Mage Mail, because I wanted to do things different. So I asked a buddy of mine, and he told me to do socks. So at first I thought, no, this is legit. At first I thought he was messing with me. I was like, dude, are you serious? He's like, I'm serious. So I did the socks. Shout out Steve. I have
seen the socks.
And bro, like from that, you know how everybody does socks now? Slack does socks. MailChimp does socks.
I didn't know that. Okay.
You didn't know that? Okay.
I need to see some pictures.
Yeah, you got to step your conference game up a little bit, because you see when you hit the conference circuits, you see.
That's what's happening. Everyone's showing.
Everybody. It's crazy. So, anyways, I digress. But so anyway, so I had a little bit of experience with a little acquisition, and so I don't know too much about how agencies are valued and those types of things. But it's just something that it was interesting to put some feelers out to some other people I know. And this one person I was talking to knows a lot about it. He was like, yeah, so generally evaluated from between 0.8 to 1.5 of revenue, depending if your profit margins are X or Y. And it was cool. Like I learned a lot just by chatting with a buddy of mine. So
gotcha. And so you're saying you got into this conversation where he was saying he wants to get acquired and he was asking you for some tips?
Yeah, he was asking for feedback and like, hey, because the thing is that with Commerce Hero, basically it's a matchmaking business. So I'm matching, agencies up with developers or merchants up with agencies or whatever. So I'm essentially kind of a hub for this ecosystem, and so it's sort of a similar type of a thing to do to connect an agency up with another agency that might want to acquire them, since, I have like all those relationships and things like that. So
gotcha. The Caitlin Jordan hub.
Kind of yeah, I guess so. So yeah, that was kind of neat to learn. It'd be interesting. I want to try to learn a little bit more about it.
A little bit more about what?
About what it looks like, what an agency acquisition looks like how they're valued.
Sure. Versus a SaaS like Mage Mail.
Versus a SaaS, or generally your product. Basically, when somebody buys a business, the extent to which it will run on its own and make money and make more money over time is the extent to which they pay for it, right?
Sure.
So it's on
Well, if they're
that.
smart.
Yeah. So from that point of view, it's pretty
They have any
basic,
brains.
and like, so, a SaaS in theory, like it doesn't depend on, it shouldn't in theory depend on the owner having business relationships with certain people. And, after post acquisition, is that going to impact, like, people just use it and it just, does its thing.
Right.
So they tend to have higher multiples than businesses that are very kind of people intensive, and
Right.
that depend a lot upon the team and the owners and that kind of a thing.
Have you always been, or have you ever been interested in how agencies work on the back end, or are you more about just connecting them with the right employees? You know what I mean? Like, do you like the, have you ever been interested in the day-to-day, like, operating of an agency business?
I kind of, I mean, so I worked for an agency before I got into Magento, and I was a project manager, and it was kind of sucked. But it wasn't. I think it wasn't a very good agency. So, your mileage can vary with different types of agencies. So, I think so. I learned a bit about it from that, and then I know a bunch of, a lot of my friends and people that I know are in agencies or run agencies or whatever. So it's interesting. It is interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
It is something that's kind of neat. I do like to learn about. I wouldn't probably want to work in an agency.
Sure.
But it is cool to learn about.
Yeah. Well, the business model of a SaaS versus agency is totally, I mean, it's at opposite ends, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Agency, you're charging for your time, basically your employees' time. And then a product, you're charging for whatever the value of the product is. In theory, it should be divorced from how much time it takes you to support it or maintain it. But, there's always maintenance time that goes into supporting a product. So it's not like, there's this idea of passive income, which doesn't really exist. Like, there's no such income as passive income unless you're a YouTube star.
And even then, you're still producing videos every single day.
No, yeah, it's not passive at all. That was a joke because Steve has become a YouTube star. Inside joke true. There. So that was cool. What else?
Well, I was going to ask, is it, how does it feel for someone to tap your expertise in the acquisition?
It's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. It's definitely flattering for anybody to just even ask about that. And, so that was
Do you feel like you did learn a lot of things through the acquisition? Was it so fast that you're kind of like, whoa, what happened? Or are you still,
they asked me the same thing, and I was like, I think I've blocked out all the painful memories or something like that. But yeah, I mean, and some of the things you learn are not rocket science. You just, through experiencing them firsthand, you learn through that, and you think about things you might do differently the next time around and things like that. So yeah, I definitely learned a thing or two. But it's interesting getting into this space of helping people get acquisitions. Like, I don't know what type of roles there are in this kind of a space. Like, you might have somebody that's real analytical and drills down on your financials and your whole business and figures things out for you. That's definitely not me. Like, I'm definitely not, like, wouldn't do like a detailed drill down or anything like that.
And so that took you out of your element a little bit, probably, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But I think the connection aspect of, like, hey, here's somebody, this is kind of the type of agency, the niche that they have, the kind of the stage of the business, and like, what would be another type of an agency that might be interested in acquiring them. That's something that I feel like I could have some intuition around. And so
totally. Well, I'm sure a lot of people on the call, are interested, or the idea of being acquired sounds interesting. Without getting into too many specifics, or even just for someone who's totally new to the idea of being acquired, what's the one, I guess, the thing that people don't expect about the whole process that you might be able to share?
What do people not expect?
Or they think it's one way, but actually it's not really like that. Like the biggest myth in your
Biggest
experience.
myth. I don't know. I can't really think of a myth. I think that you kind of know, what the challenges are going into it, but you just haven't experienced them firsthand. So for example, you know that due diligence is going to be a pain in the butt. Um, but then going through it, it just sucks. You know that things are going to be run differently by the new owners. I mean, that's why they're acquiring the business, because
Right.
their thesis is, here's a business that's done X. I can run it differently. I mean, the building we live in, the apartment we live in, just got taken over by new management, and it's total hassle. Like, everybody's upset about it. The pool isn't heated to the right levels. Like,
Oh
just it's a
no.
mess. First world problems.
Yeah, that's what I
So,
was about to say.
so
WP, man.
yeah. So, that's, things are going to be run differently, and some of those things you'll be excited about. Some of those things you'll be less excited about. Maybe
You
there's
mean
more.
it being your baby, like running
It
it for
being
so
your
long and
baby.
then having to
Yeah.
give it away. Yeah.
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 Totally.
Yeah.
And then
It
just,
sounds cool to be acquired, but then all of a sudden you realize, well, I'm kind of basically transferring all this stuff I've built over to someone else and hope that they take care of it well.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so things are going to be done differently. I was going to say something else, but I totally forgot now.
That's okay. That's okay. We need to do another episode on, just lessons learned, right? I don't know how much you can share at this point, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you mean not for the agency specifically, or for?
No, I mean just about being acquired.
Major Mail or the
Major Mail.
Oh yeah.
Or my 20 other businesses.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. I can share most things, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe do a follow up, talk a little bit more about it at some point.
Yes.
Still trying to remember what I was going to say, but I can't remember. So I think that's a wrap.
Due to your inability to remember your next point.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening today, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Really appreciate it. If you have any questions about that, or if you know anything about, mergers and acquisitions for agencies specifically, I got some great feedback from my buddy TJ. Shout out to TJ, who linked me up to this guy that talks a lot about selling his agency. He has a ton of content on it. So there's a bunch of stuff to read. So that was cool. But if you have any feedback, let me know.